Okay, here are the updated instructions. I almost gave up again because I couldn't reproduce what I did this morning, and it took all day to figure out what I had done differently. So here we go. This will be the third time I install everything. This is the WSL installation version, I guess the intended way of installing things. And let me just say that things do run faster, but really I've noticed that the primary speed increase is the amount of time it takes to start generating a response. The response generation, or the tokens generating in front of your eyes on the screen, is roughly the same, probably still faster in WSL, but the main benefit is that if you're like in the 30B model and you push the generate button, it generates very quickly. Or it starts the generation process very quickly. However, generating the text is similar to the Windows-only installation. So we're going to start off a little bit different. We're going to start off with me uninstalling Ubuntu. And I'm doing this for specific reasons so you know how to start over again, in case you need to. I had to start over, I don't know. I don't even want to tell you how many times, but too many. So we're going to uninstall Ubuntu. And secretly, though, it's not uninstalled. You think it'd be uninstalled, but it is not. You've got to do one more thing. So we've got to go to our PowerShell here, and this is just the PowerShell. So you click on, yeah. So I usually just run this as the administrator. That's how you do it. I'm going to be using this icon down here to access the PowerShell from here on forward. So to completely uninstall your Ubuntu installation, okay. Well, I guess it did actually uninstall it. Let me check. Oh yeah, there you go, it did delete it. Well, half the time it's not going to do it. So you want to run this, and then it's going to show you the name of your Ubuntu installation, and then you want to put this in there, and then you want to type the name of your Ubuntu installation, and then just run this, and it'll get rid of the whole thing. But apparently sometimes it will actually work as intended. Okay, so these instructions are actually all the instructions from the Oobabooga website. However, I think I see why some people are having issues. And I'll address everything as we go through. So, the first thing that we need to do is similar to my other. Let me just get this link here. Similar to my other set of instructions, in the sense that make sure you have the right CUDA toolkit installed on your Windows operating system. And in order to do that, you can go to this link. This gentleman has so kindly put together instructions on how to do this. He also has a YouTube channel about AI stuff. It's really good. So follow these instructions. He's going from 11.6 to 11.3, but you want to go to 11.7. So whether you move up or down, it's relevant. These instructions are still applicable, and they're reversible. At this point, I have like 6 toolkits installed, and I just swap around between them to test stuff. So I'll quickly run through the instructions briefly. If you want to see which version you have installed. If you don't have the right one installed, you want this one, 11.7. This is how you check your version, and this is where you go to get the new one. If you need to change your version or you need to edit your environmental variables, this is how you do it. You click on this, do not click on this. They look similar. They will give you similar windows, but you will not be able to edit what you need to edit in this window. So make sure you click on this window. You'll be presented with this, and you click on this. And then you're going to want to go down to this system variables window, and you're going to want to make sure your path says 11.7. You can just type in there the 11.7. So he's typed in 11.3, but we want 11.7. Then you want to go, to this paths folder, or this paths line here, and you want to move up the 11.7 bin and the 11.7 LIB NVPP. It says 11.6 here, but you just want to move your 11.7 up. Again, he's doing 11.3, and you can check your version, make sure you installed it correctly. So definitely make sure you do that. Okay, now let's get to installing stuff. You'll see already right off the bat a lot fewer instructions, so there's a benefit in that. Okay, so we're going to take this, make sure your Windows operating system is up to date, and then you want to go to your PowerShell. And again, I think I want to do run as administrator here. Got to tell it yes. Yeah, okay. Then, okay. So for these PowerShells, if you've used Windows for a while, this is going to trip you up. It kind of irks me. You should not push Control V. You can right-click on this bar here, and you can go to Properties, and you can enable Control Shift C and V to get a similar type of experience, or you can copy the text, and then you can right-click like really close to this little arrow here, and it'll automatically put it in there and run it. So that's what I did, and I put it in there, and I've just set the default to version 2, and the operation has completed successfully. Excellent. Okay, now what I am doing is I am following the instructions on the Oobabooga website here for the WSL installation. So we've done this. I know it says Windows 11, but even if you're running Windows 10, I think you should still do this. That's what I'm doing. Okay, now you've got to install Ubuntu. So we're going to go to the Microsoft Store. Okay, we're going to search for Ubuntu. And then we want this one here. We're going to click on that. We're going to click Get. It's going to download it. It's already downloaded it. My internet connection is not that fast. So it's downloaded. I'm just going to leave this open for now, but I think you can probably close it. And I'm just going to follow these instructions here. Okay. So now we're going to launch the app. So it's up here now. I'm just going to click on that, and it's going to take a few minutes. While it's doing that, I'm going to pin this to my taskbar, because this is how you're going to access Oobabooga from here on out. Okay. So now we're going to set up our Ubuntu installation, and we're going to give ourselves a username. We're going to type our password in. We're going to do it one more time. You will not see any text generated on the screen while doing this process. Okay, great. Now we have successfully installed Ubuntu, I guess like sideloader thing, and the Windows operating system. Okay, so do these instructions. I've listed them here. So I'm gonna go back and forth between the Oobabooga instructions and my text file. They're pretty much the same. So again, I'm copying, and then I'm just right-clicking, and look, it automatically put that in. And now I've got to put in my password again. This is like an administrative elevated thing you need to do. Great. So I just looked for the updates. Now it's going to upgrade my Ubuntu installation here. I was just going to click yes. Install whatever you want on my computer, whatever. Okay, great. Looks like it's done. Now we're going to, oops. Okay, so then it says proceed with the Linux instructions. Okay, great. So the Linux instructions suggest to install Miniconda. So that's what we're going to do with this line of text here. This is all one line. It's just scrunched up on my screen. Okay, and we're going to push that. Sometimes when you right click it, I think if you highlight an extra space here, it'll automatically execute the code. I don't know. It's a little finicky sometimes. Just, you'll get used to it. Probably. I don't know. I still don't like it. Okay. Now we got to run this. See, I think because this is like it highlighted a return character. So once I right click, yeah, see it automatically. I did it. And we're going to push enter. And then I'm just going to hold the enter button down, because I've read this already. All right, now we're going to type yes. And then I'm going to push enter again. And then type in yes. Great. Now, close Ubuntu. You can't use Miniconda until you close it and open it again. Okay, now we're going to continue following the instructions on the Oobabooga website we'll run this to create our TextGen environment. If you want a little bit of insight as to how this is working in the Windows environment, watch one of my last videos, probably the last one to this one. I'll be showing you how it's installing it in the operating system here too, but it's a little bit different. So we're going to be generating, we're going to be creating an environment within Miniconda. We're going to activate the environment. Right, so I've got the text here. And what it is doing, and let me show you guys where everything's installing. Okay, so see here I have a Linux little penguin boy here. I'm going to click on this, and this is our Ubuntu installation. All right, so not as nice looking as the Windows stuff we had, but it works. Let me just continue with this installation here, and I'll show you where everything's installing. So home is like, this is like your C drive for Windows, and then home is like, I don't know, like your desktop, if you want to think of it like that. Or the user, like in your Windows operating system, there's different users. So my user is myself Linux. Okay, so here is where the Miniconda installation now exists in the Ubuntu installation. Okay, great. Now we're going to, we just installed or created the TextGen environment, so it's in ENVS. Here it is, it's TextGen. So this looks a little bit different than the other environment in Windows. We'll get to that and like how to navigate this throughout the video, but just so you know, this is where it's installing. And similar to when we use Miniconda in Windows, we've got to activate our environment. So right now it says base. So if we were to like install packages and stuff like that, it would install it in here. We don't want that. We want everything to install in our newly generated environment. So we've got to activate it to make sure we're working within this space through this terminal here. Okay, great. So now it says TextGen. Wonderful. Now I'm just continuing along with the instructions here. So now we're going to do this. And like the other videos, first of all, I never thought I'd be making a third video, let alone that second one. I don't make videos. I really don't feel like editing anything. So this is all in one take. If you don't want to watch something installed, feel free to skip ahead. No skin off my nose. This is, well, there's several somewhat lengthy installations, so it's probably second to the longest. So it's installing all this stuff to our environment we just made. So you'll notice there's like nothing new in here. Where everything's installing in here is, let's see, I think it's here. Yep. And then Python 3.10, and then site packages. Now this is where everything's installing. This window will not automatically refresh. So if it doesn't look like something's happening, occasionally click this button. There we go. So look at that. It's all installing. Okay, great. So now we're still in the environment. We have finished installing all this Razmajez. Now we're going to clone the Oobabooga repository. Well, as per the instructions, that's what we're going to do, right? So I haven't really deviated from the instructions, and I won't deviate from the instructions, but I think there's a little bit of an error in how they're presented, and I think people keep getting tripped up on that. Okay. So let's clone the repository. Where did it go? Where's it installed on my computer? That really ticks me off. When things install and I don't know where they are, it drives me insane. So this is where it is. I'm back in the little penguin guy, right? And I'm here now. I'm in home, myself, and then text gen web UI. This is where it's installed. Or that's where the repository was cloned to. Okay, now I'm going to change my directory to that location. So in here, right? So now it's blue. We've changed directories. We still got this activated. Great. Now we're going to install the requirements. We're going to install everything in this file called requirements.txt, which is this file here. This is going to install all this stuff for us. We'll get to that. We'll be building some instructions in real time here, and you'll have access to the final version of this text file. Okay, so it's done that. Great. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the instructions. If you click on this, I'm going to do these instructions, and I'm going to do these. I'm not going to do this yet. You've got to do this first, and then you can do this. And I really wish this set of instructions was up between there, because they're really kind of confusing. Okay, so we've done that. I don't have to run activate again, because it's already activated. I just have it there just so I don't forget to activate it. And then we're going to run this. And if you've seen my other videos, I usually check the installation as I move forward, but the flow of this is going to be just a little bit different. Yes, this part takes the longest, so it will actually be a couple of minutes. So ruminate on your existence. fast forward, whatever, but there will be no edits. Okay, that part is done. So we're still in our text generation web UI folder, and we still got our environment activated. Now we're going to make a folder called repositories, and we're going to make it within this, let's see, we're going to make it in this folder here. It didn't pop up right away, you got to refresh, and now it's there. So now we're going to change directories of our PowerShell into this folder. So now we've got this little dash line and it's blue. One thing to note when working with Linux is all the dashes are like in the opposite direction as Windows most of the time, not all the time. So if you ever get stuck, try reversing these dashes. You'll notice that I had to do that for these instructions here. Okay, so now we've got that done. We're going to clone this repository GPTQ-for-LLaMA. Okay, so there it is. Now we're going to change the directory of our terminal here to reflect that. So now we're in this folder. Now do not run this yet. You need to run this. It's going to ask for your password again. Click yes. And I think this takes a little bit of time as well. It's done. Now I'm going to run this. You might see some warnings or something, or I don't know, but it will work. Yeah, some warnings, just ignore that. I'll show you the lines that when you see them, you know you got it working. All right. Processing and finished processing dependencies. That's what you want to see. Now it works. Now, technically everything is sort of installed, but not quite yet. This is one trick that I like to do because I have multiple drives, and I could not get this to work on a different drive. So it's on my C drive, this Ubuntu installation, but I do not want to put all my models there because models are big, and I have other special drives for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a shortcut. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a shortcut to the models folder. So I'm going to delete this models folder. It's empty. Let me just show you. It's empty except for this little text file here. So you can just delete this. And again, we're in our Ubuntu installation here. And now all of my, well, not all of my models, but this is where I'm going to make a shortcut to. So on my F drive, I have this directory where, let me go up a directory, hold on. I have this directory where I have some models stored, okay? So I want to make they're called symbolic links from Ubuntu world into Windows world, and this is how you do it. But this is where I'm making the link, and you can thank ChatGPT for helping me with this because, man, there's a lot of really bad instructions online. Okay. So we're going to change our directory back to our text-gen web UI because right now we're in this directory. And I think, now don't quote me on this, but I think you have to put this here to go backwards in a directory. I can't just say, well, let me try that. Okay. Change directory to text web UI. Yeah, see, it says no file. I don't know. Just put the little thing in there like that. Now we can go back. Good God. Okay. We don't have to run this because we don't have to really run it for this set of instructions. I'm just paranoid about making sure I'm in the right environment. So this is how you make the shortcut. So this is the directory on my Windows machine. So models, TextGen Web UI. This is just another installation. This is the installation I did yesterday, actually. And then this, and it's on the F drive. So all I have to do is put the letter F here. If you try to put F, colon, all that stuff, it's not going to work. So that's what this F means. It's just because I'm on the F drive. If you had an H drive, it would be an H, and then you just put the stuff in there. This is what I want to name the symbolic link in the Ubuntu world. So I want to name it models because it said models again. That's weird. Oh, I deleted it, but I didn't refresh. Ugh, I hate that you have to refresh this thing. Okay, so Oobabooga is expecting a folder called models. So I'm going to name my shortcut for the symbolic link, which is like a really fancy shortcut, but you can't just use a normal shortcut. What does all this stuff mean? I don't know. ChatGPT told me to put that in and it works, so that's what I'm doing. So now we're in this folder here, and I'm going to make a symbolic link to another directory, but I'm going to call it models to kind of trick Oobabooga into thinking that there's a folder in Ubuntu. Okay, it's made, and you'll see it's not in here. I'm going to click refresh, and now here it is. It doesn't look like a folder. It's just this thing without this picture, but it's there. It's going to work. Okay, so we're going to check things a little bit in reverse from what we would normally do. We're going to check 4-bit mode first. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a 4-bit model that I've already prepared. And then I will explain how to convert the models at the end after we go over 8-bit. So just a little refresher. Let me see here. In order to use the newer version of Oobabooga, your models need to look like this, right? So before they used to look like this, lots of little bin files. Now they look like this with just a few bin files. And I'll show you how to do this conversion of your original llama files, the ones you legitimately got from the original source. So we have our symbolic link. Let me just make sure that there's a model available for it. Okay. So now to run everything, we could just put this in here and run it, but I'm just going to close this out to show you kind of running it from scratch. So we want to change directories to our text generation web UI, and we want to activate the correct environment, text gen, and then we're going to be running this server.py file, which lives right here. And this is how you tell it you want a 4-bit, you want to load things in 4-bit mode. And then this group size 128, this is reflective of actually how the 4-bit models are converted. And then this is going to load it in chat mode here. So just going to copy all this, and I'm just going to right click it in here and then push enter. Okay, so this is the model that I've already prepared. And again, I'll show you how to make this from the original llama files that you legitimately got. 4, right? Okay. And let's look at our system resources while this is going on. This will be very important, especially when we get to 8-bit. Because when we do 8-bit, it's going to look like there's an error, but there's not. And I'll show you how to verify that there's not an error. So upon loading the model the first time, it does take a little bit of extra time, but subsequent loadings don't take nearly as long. So it's definitely using up the F drive. This is the GPU. So we've loaded the 13 billion parameter model in 4-bit. It's using very little VRAM, which is good. And it's you generally don't need this much CPU RAM. I found that when you do the installation the first time, it doesn't dump, it doesn't dump things out of memory. So this is kind of like a gross exaggeration of how much memory you need. You don't need that much. Okay, so it's loaded. We have a URL. Just copy that. And we'll get a Firefox tab here. And then paste that in. And here's our user interface. Now we can talk to the model. And it looks like it's hard of hearing right now. Don't worry about the output. I find that the default setting really isn't like the best. I think personally, pleasing results is pretty good. Look at that, see? But that'll be maybe another video. Once I'm able to have a version of this that doesn't keep changing, it'll be nice to kind of explore again the limitations and amazing abilities. So, okay, we've got this running. Great. Whether you run the 13B in Windows or on Linux this way, it kind of doesn't matter too much, especially if you like update some of the files, these CUDA files. There'll be something in a link, but don't worry about it too much. It's working. Great, everything's good. We got quite a number of tokens per second, and everything's going okay. All right, so we're going to close this out. Now we have confirmation 4-bit's working. So you can try 8-bit, but it will not work. Guarantee you it will not work. The reason I was so adamant about you having CUDA 11.7 and the CUDA Toolkit 11.7 installed is because we're going to be doing this. So these instructions are similar to, so if we go down here, where is it? Oh, go back a page. So Mr. Oobabooga suggests to reference this comment to get 8-bit mode working. Their way may have worked for them, but it didn't work for me, and so let me show you what I had to do to get it working. And I think it has to do with their their Windows version of the CUDA toolkit they have installed. So, you can run these lines, but we're just going to do it manually so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go back to our user root directory here. Then we're going to go into Maniconda. We're going to go into environments. We're going to go into TextGen. We're going to go into lib. We're going to go into 3.10. We're going to go into site packages. And then we're going to go into bits and bytes here. All right. So see this 11.7? See this? Okay, first, you don't have to do this, but I think it's just always a good idea to make a backup. So now we have a backup of this file. It's just called copy. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this file. Okay, and then we're going to grab this name here. Just copying that. Then I'm going to delete this original file. And then I'm going to rename this file with that name. Okay, and you'll see what's going on in a minute here. But now we've essentially replaced this file with this file, but we've secretly renamed it with its original name. Okay, so now we got that going. Great. Now we can run 8-bit mode. Okay, so let's run this in here. Okay, so we're going to run. We can run any of these in 8-bit mode, and we'll just run this llama one in 8-bit mode. You can run this code gen 1 in 8-bit. You can run, everything in 8-bit mode. Okay. So we're gonna run this. Oh shoot. Okay, it looks like it doesn't matter. I accidentally hit some extra keys when I hit the enter button, but it looks like it's irrelevant. Let me just make sure it's actually loading in here. Yeah, okay, we got it loading in and we're using the F drive. Okay. But I can hear you saying, oh no, how are you running this on your GPU? It clearly says CPU only. Well, that's what we did. We kind of tricked it. So see here it's saying, oh no, you didn't find what I was looking for. And then it's saying, we couldn't find a GPU, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this file, this libbitsandbytes underscore CPU.so. But see, we named the file it's supposed to be using that, so we tricked it. We forced it to use that even though it doesn't know it's using it. So you will get this, but it's not really an error. And you will be running it on your GPU, not your CPU, and I'll show you how to verify that. I was doing some various versions of these installation instructions, and I did end up running it on my CPU, and it's driving me crazy. But you'll see it's running on the GPU now. It's loading in. And it's going to take just a little bit of time, and it'll be about twice as much as it was last time, VRAM-wise, because now we're loading this model that we were running in 4-bit and 8-bit mode. And I can tell it's just still loading in because it's grabbing it from this F drive here, and the utilization is rather high. And ever since I installed Ubuntu, I have this I have like 2 extra Ethernet things, and so you can't see everything on when it's zoomed out or a full screen. So this will be the GPU, but we'll kind of look up here so we can see the memory ramp up. And again, I don't think you need like 50 gigabytes of CPU memory, and even if you didn't have enough, you can always use paging files, and it'll just be slower to load everything in. Okay, great. Our model's loaded in. As you see, it takes up more VRAM. It took about this much before, somewhere around less than half. Okay, you'll see the URL's all screwed up now too. That's just the way things go. Let me get the. Okay. So here is our web browser, and you have to manually type this in because it's not going to tell you the right location here. Okay, so now we have that. I'm going to show you the resource utilization. See, we're using the GPU. It's using the GPU to do this, not the CPU. So it is working. 8-bit mode is working, and it is running on the GPU. It's just doesn't think it is, but we know it is. So there. So now we have 4-bit mode working and 8-bit mode working. Okay. Now, let me explain how to do the file conversion. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to open this up again here. Okay. So, if you have the original llama files from their original source, you've got to do 2 conversions. You've got to do this is what it looks like originally. You've got to do this conversion to, hold on a minute. So we've got to convert this to this. And the way you do that is thusly. Okay. So here's where I like to keep my models. You can put your models anywhere. Just follow the instructions. So here again is my original sourced llama model. Again, I don't know if these files need to be, you will get these files with your models. So if you don't know what these are, then, you don't have the original model. I think you've got to put these outside of the folder that this folder is in. I don't know for sure, so I make a copy and I put them in there. I don't know. Okay, so remember, this is where our original model is. So let's see how we're going to do the conversion. Let's change our directory in here. So we're in so many extra directories now. Okay, here, here, here. So now we're in this folder, right? This GPTQ folder. We're going to activate our environment. Always important. Cannot stress that enough. And then we're going to run, we want to run this convert llama files to HF here. And that's this Python code here. When we do that is we tell it the input directory. Now, because I've got that weird shortcut, that symbolic link in there, I've got to do this just a little bit differently. So I'm telling it it's in the text gen. You got to put this in there like that. And then I'm telling it that it's in the models folder because technically that's where it thinks it is, but it's in a different models folder on my F drive. I'm telling it it's the 13B model, and I'm telling it to write to the same folder. So there's going to be another folder in here called, it'll automatically name it the right name. It'll name it llama 13B. So we just copy that. We paste it into there. And while that's going, I realize I have not, there's another set of instructions that I have not included in here. So let me see if I can't manufacture those while this is running. Let's see if that works. I don't know. We'll see if that works. This is the final step. This is the final conversion. We'll let this finish. This is somewhat resource intensive, not terrible. It'll just eat up a lot of RAM and will utilize your GPU as well. But this is, let's let that run. You see, it's already made a folder in the models directory called 1113B. Just made a couple minutes ago here. It's going to have this temp file folder in there until it's finished. But once it is done, what we'll be making next is the 4-bit like accessory model. And I'll just tell you right now, I will start the process. I will show you it going, then I will stop it because it takes quite a bit of time. And when I do stop it, I think it messes up with my audio cleaning software. I'm using some NVIDIA AI audio stuff to get rid of noise on the microphone. And it seems to like kill that when I stop the process. So I'll probably lose audio when that happens. But I've already shown you how to load the 4-bit model, right? So you just got to make sure that this folder with all these contents that we're making right now, this is what we're making. This is the completed one already. you've got to make sure this and this are in the same directory, and then you can run the model in 4-bit. So we'll let this continue. Kind of monitor the system resources to make sure nothing has stopped doing anything. Okay, that's good. Okay, now it's saving everything. Saving everything to this folder here. And for people who want to know my system specs, I have a 4090 and an i9-13900K. So your speeds will vary depending on your system resources. Okay, looks like it is finished. Great. And let's test my untested, if I did this right in real time, because I haven't even run this yet, and we'll see. Okay, so we're already in the directory we want to be in. Okay, great. We've already got our environment activated. Great. And we've got this LLaMA 13B model in our kind of secret symbolic link there. And what it's going to do is it's going to write this 13B file to this folder here. So we'll write it to your Ubuntu installation, but you can just cut it and paste it to a different location. It's not a huge deal. Now let's see if this line of code works. We're running, this is the file we're going to be running, this llama.py file. And cross our fingers and hope to God this works here. Okay, great. It's a good sign. Okay, so like I said, I will let this start so you can see how resource intensive it is. Oh, wait, how come you can? That's weird. Before I couldn't see all these things in one go, but now I can. Whatever. Shit. Okay, well, it didn't work, but there'll be some instructions on how to get it to work. What is our issue here? No module named data. Oh, that's right. Well, okay. Let's let this go a little bit. Let's do some real time due diligence here. I know how to do that. So bear with me a moment. Let's see if this works. Restrictions yesterday. Okay. So before we run that 4B model, we got to do this first. So let's change this. So let's go back to our web UI folder here. Oops. With the little tilly thingy. Because it says Ubuntu and I don't know what I'm doing. All right, there we go. Now we're on our TextGen web UI, so we'll kind of just navigate here so you can see it. I don't think you have to do that for this, but I just do it anyways. All right. Quadruple checking, it's activated now. We'll see if this works. I don't know if it will. Okay, looks like it's doing something. So I've already made this 4-bit accessory model with my Windows installation of Oobabooga. So this will be my first time doing it with the Ubuntu one, but I figured it's probably going to work because I got this first one to work. So I really don't think I'm not too worried about it. Doing it and figuring this all out in real time is a little unnerving. With that. Okay, allegedly it is finished. So now let's go back to this GPTQ-for-LLaMA thing, right? Okay, we're in there. Let's see here. Now I'm going to try to run this again. That's right. Okay, it will work. I don't want to make this video too long. You got to go to Hugging Face and you got to do this thing with some stuff. I'll put some instructions down, but it's making an account's free. You've got to get a token, and then you've got to put the token somewhere. I forgot how I did it before, but I'll write something up. But it will work. Just this one little step. So sorry I didn't, complete it to beginning to end, but I'll make sure you get some instructions on how to execute this last step here, so you can get that 4-bit converted model. And I'll make sure to know if you need to download anything else. So with that, I will end the video.